The New World Order is nothing to be concerned about. The whole idea of mass hypnosis is a myth, and mind control is impossible to manage. Welcome to Better Bad News, half true more or less 100% of the time. Rosie is inviting witnesses who were at Ground Zero on 9/11 to tell their stories on her nationally broadcast daytime TV show.
I'm sure. Do you believe in a conspiracy in terms of the attack of 9/11?
Well, there are many, many ways to think of it, but historically, have governments ever faked incidents or incited incidents in order to get them into wars? Nations. I'm asking you, has that happened historically?
I'm sure it has.
Yeah.
And Rosie O'Donnell has now crossed into the anti-American territory. She hates this government, the Bush administration, and she's using that hatred. She's venting her venom for whatever reason. I'm not a psychiatrist. And she's damaging the country in doing so. This is used by our enemies all over the world because her transmission goes all over the world. Enemies all over the world. Enemies all over the world. Enemies all over the world.
It's a daytime TV show, for heaven's sakes.
Even in northwestern Pakistan, enemies all over the world. Enemies all over the world.
Osama bin Laden, there was constant discussion about him hiding out in caves, and sometimes the American people have a perception that it's a little hole dug out of the side of a mountain. Oh no. This is it. This is a fortress. Complex, multi-tiered, bedrooms and offices on the top, even computer systems and telephone systems.
Somewhere in the mountains of Tora Bora, Al-Qaeda generals are watching Rosie O'Donnell from their hidden fortresses on high-definition display screens in their hidden secret cave complexes.
Oh, sure. I can see Osama tracking a radar blip showing Rosie O'Donnell dropping several nuclear families on Elizabeth Hasselbeck and Barbara Walters.
Large enough to drive trucks and even tanks.
And there's not one of those. There are many of those.
In America, we are fed propaganda, and if you want to know what's happening in the world, go outside of the U.S. media.
For days, the Americans bombed the mountains at Tora Bora, but all they found were a few small caves, which were either empty or had been used to store ammunition. There was no underground bunker system. It was replaced by fantasies about the Al-Qaeda network.
We were talking about the New World Order and the tools used by the media to subdue any resistance to it.
Over her recent claims that September 11th was an inside job by the U.S. government.
Rosie has been out of control for a long time now. She makes a statement about World Trade Center Building 7. It collapsed.
It defies physics for the World Trade Center Tower 7, Building 7, which collapsed in on itself. Physically impossible. It is impossible for a building to fall the way it fell without explosives being involved.
Explosions. On September 11th, 2001, in the early hours, mainstream American broadcast news programs reported explosions.
But as soon as I got outside, I heard a second explosion and another rumble.
There was another big explosion.
It just went boom, it was like a bomb went off. And another explosion came right on me, because everyone flying.
And then all of a sudden, 3 big explosions.
It's a very sophisticated operation.
This is serious business.
All over the world. Enemies all over the world. Enemies all over the world. Enemies all over the world.
Very sophisticated operation.
You will be known as the hypnotized generation, an entire population mind-fucked by an invisible enemy.
And if you don't believe it, get off your ass and do some independent research.
Okay. Building 7 committed suicide.
I'm sorry, but how could anyone have ever believed that one religious fanatic and 19 Arab terrorists operating out of a cave in Afghanistan could get the entire United States Strategic Air Command to stand down on 9/11?
It's a very sophisticated operation. It's a very sophisticated operation.
Better Bad News, half true more or less 100% of the time.